Hello there, I am Mindfiend, this is the Secret World, and standing before you is Little Boo. Say hello, Little Boo. I mean, what? Just say hello. We've just come through the portal from Agartha, there in the background, and we're heading into Kingsmouth now. Let me just go over here and stand over here away from the buzzing of the bees a little bit. Nope. What we've got here, if you can look, as I mentioned at the end of the last video, is a Viking longship that's actually hidden within the rock wall here. It's quite cool. I love the design and the artwork on it. The place is full of bees because the bees are key to everything. As you may notice here, there's a piece of lore which I'm about to pick up. And all the lore in the game is done in the shape of a honeycomb. Aha, from the bees. So we'll just quickly read this lore before moving onwards. Again, it's probably likely to be from the bees. Yep, the buzzing. So, it says here, "Oh sweeting, once our voice come to you so faintly, no more. Once our voice came to you so faintly, no more. Now we thunder down the varicose, fibre-optic ley lines that fill the world's tree limbs, stretching here and there and everywhere. Your anima antenna head quickens, the goddess machine pulses." Basically it's saying that before you was awakened, before the bee came to you and instilled the anima within you, awakened it, you weren't really aware of the secret world, but now you are. Now you're aware of it, now you're aware of your powers. Now here is another anima well, because we found this anima well now. Whenever we die we can resurrect here. It's basically what these anima wells are. They're points for you to resurrect at. But the secret world is very different in that you can choose to, it's not die, but let's say cross over. Leave your body behind and cross over into the grey spirit world, into the veil, and look at things from there. Some things you will be able to see when you're in your ghost form that you can't see when you're alive, etc. You can also use these portals as fast travel. If you discover enough of them, you can move from one to the other, and as you discover them you can then always travel back to them. Now, because the last video was so long, about an hour and a quarter long, I do apologise, because I wanted to fulfil the whole quest route of might makes right, and therefore had to go through the weapons training, and I wanted to talk about it in detail. I did sort of like run quickly through the briefing you get from Sonak. If you remember, he sent us out, he said a small island off the coast of New England, off the coast of Maine in New England, has dropped off the map. It's basically something has happened there, and they've sent out us to investigate. He did say that whatever happened here is probably of evil origin, is a supernatural world, and that I've got to not play the hero. I'm not necessarily here to try to save everybody. I'm here to stop the evil itself. Quite the Templar viewpoint, quite the harking back to what I mentioned before about the Templars and that they're prepared to destroy a city to kill a demon. It's a case of do what must be to achieve the ends. Any mean achieves the ends. Well done, he just resurrected there. So I'm going to walk down here now. We're on what's called Solomon Island. And as you can already see, there's like a fog and a mist over the place. And as you watch, you'll see tendrils within this fog. Very eerie, spooky tendrils of something. It's very well done. I like this. It gives it quite an atmosphere. We will look at the island itself in greater detail soon, but we're following through with what Richard said now to come here and say hello to this character. I like him.
Oh, don't worry, kid. You haven't gone back in time. I just happen to be the last of the cowboys. Got your southern welcome right here. Mesquite beans, Texas style. Good ought to face evil on a full stomach. Name's Boone. I'm a troubleshooter. You and I need to have a powwow before you continue your little crusade. You Templars may be taking the high road, but just watch you don't get saddle rash from the high horse, okay? Sure, you can be divided in purpose, but we gotta stand united against darkness. This ain't my first rodeo. I know we're gonna need all the unity we can get. Don't mean to say you stepped into hell, but when the wind blows west, you can just about smell the brimstone. All we know is death and fog came from the sea, or someone brought it back with them. If I was a gambling man, I'd put money on that someone still being around. Bunch of survivors holed up in Kingsmouth town. Follow that main road and the sound of gunfire, and you'll come to the sheriff's office. Kid, whatever your reasons for being here, you find out what those people died for, and you bring a reckoning.
I just love that, the way he says you find out what those people died for and you bring a reckoning. This guy, Boone, is, let me move out to these people's way, he's a wonderful character. I do like him. He's actually done by a very, very well known voice actor called Stephen Blum. He's done many things. He's done animes, like he's done voices in Cowboy Bebop and Naruto. He's been in video games, like playing Tank Dempsey in the Call of Duty series, or in Dragon Age Origin and Final Fantasy VII. He's actually he's even in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the most prolific of voice actors. I think round about, what was it, May 2012, he was listed as having 261, I think, credited roles. So more than likely you've heard his voice before. He's got a very powerful, wonderful voice. They've done a great job with choosing the voice actors for this game. Some of them are famous names. Some people you'll know, some people you won't, some people you have heard but won't realise it's the same people, etc. It's really well done. This character of Boone is very interesting. I like, he says, I come from the south, from the real old south. Now that, it's a bit ambiguous. I get the hint that when he says the real old south, he doesn't mean you know, just a part of the south that's still following the old ways. I think he means the actual old south. I think he's old. He does hint at it when he says something along the lines of my partner Wolf and I ride for a higher authority. He says, when you need to know us, you will. But he's like the welcome to Kingsmouth here, and I like him. I can't say more than that. I do like, but I like Wolf as well. But there's something about Boone that just I do really enjoy. Now you'll notice he's called Jack Boone. When I first think, I thought, oh, maybe he's the actual Daniel Boone, but we'll see. He told us more there about what's happening, and he actually initiates the first. Well, he actually initiates the main storyline. This blue one here is the main storyline for the first 3 areas of the game, of the secret world. We're on a place called Solomon Island. Solomon Island consists of 3 areas. It consists of Kingsmouth Town, it consists of the Savage Coast, and of the Blue Mountain. I will go through all 3 of those areas, and this storyline will take us the whole way through those. Let's look here first of all, and I'll read you what it says. The dawning of an endless night. Tier 1 of 18. Kingsmouth, a once peaceful town in New England, has been overrun by the living dead. The survivors are holed up in the sheriff's office. Question them to learn more about the undead infestation. It says, Jack Boone talked about how death and fog came to Solomon Island from the sea, and that someone brought it back with them. He believes that someone is still around, and that whatever the reason anyone might have for being here, they should find out what the fog is, how it came, and what the people of Kingsmouth died for. He said the few survivors are mostly gathered at the east, to the at the sheriff's office in Kingsmouth. So our quest is to go to the office in Kingsmouth. I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to be doing the next quest on this in this episode. But he did give us lots of information. He said that he thinks that basically what happened is this fog rolled in with something evil in it. Whether it was brought here or not, he's not sure, but he thinks somebody brought it here. And then people started dying and coming back as the undead. There's an awful lot to talk about with Kingsmouth, the area and everything. I'm not sure whether now is the place to do it, but what I will say is this is very much an amalgamation of horror stories, supernatural horror stories. You'll find an awful lot of information here from things like Lovecraft, from Edgar Allan Poe, from Stephen King, and it's really cleverly done, really well woven. Some of the references very easy to understand, very obvious. For instance, if I show you the map of Kingsmouth town itself, you'll see that there is a Lovecraft lane. So that's, blatantly saying, we're basing on Lovecraft. There's Arkham Avenue, which is one of his famous towns he created. Belmont were the publishers for Lovecraft, published some of his stories. And he even lived, actually, during a time, he lived on Angel Street, after he lost his fortune and lost his family's fortune. He had to move into apartments on Angel Street where he had a very rough time. He was robbed of everything he owned and all sorts of things like that. But I'm going to go more into this over the episodes, over the times when we pass along these places. There's an awful lot at work here, and an awful lot of influences being drawn on, an awful lot of stories being told. But first of all, there's another piece of lore here, so let me pick this up. Another buzzing. She gave you strength to rend the lion. Now eat the honeyed entrails, because it is good, because it is sweet, because it is terrible. Initiate the Samson prerogative. Out of the eater comes what is eaten, and out of the strong comes what is sweet. More references to honey and to the anima that it wells up within you and everything. Now we could just do as he told us here, head along the road here, Solomon Road, and head into Kingsmouth Town, which here on the right we have our quest list. We can have up to 6 active quests at once, and they are colour coded, as you can see. The story mission, dungeon missions, which you need a group to be able to do. Then you've got like your main action missions, the missions where you've got to kill things, and side missions, which are usually like item quests, etc, etc. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up another mission from Boone here for a fistful of zombies. I'm sure you'll probably get the reference to that that movie quote.
Yeah, this forest crawls. Gets my fingers itching for 2 matters. One, the other, figuring out a way to keep 'em down. It ain't right the way the dead walk the earth. They deserve their 6 feet, same as everyone else. I've sworn to keeping guard here, and you've got places to be. But nothing's stopping you from culling the herd as you go. Hell, figure out what makes them tick and how to make that ticking stop, and I'll buy you a beer at the apocalypse. So go on, kid. Saddle up. The end of the world waits for no man.
So here we go. Here's an action mission, a kill things mission. Tier 1 of 5. Jack Boone has a zombie problem. He shoots them, but they keep coming back. Find out more about the zombies, what makes them tick. Could go a long way towards solving the problem. So first of all, Jack's camp is literally surrounded by zombies. Help him keep their numbers down. Kill zombies in the area around Jack's camp. I've only got to kill 6. It's basically, this taking you down the road is sort of like introducing you to what you have to do. I will mention as well though that from the main storyline mission he did give me faction specific dialogue. He mentioned Templars and the high horse, taking the high road, but you know, don't get chafed on your high horse. That's faction specific. You'll get slightly different dialogue if you're the other factions. But I do like the way he also said, like, you know, basically he said put aside your differences with the other factions until you've dealt with the problems that are here. Deal with this first and then deal with the monsters. So let's get our weapon up and ready. For some reason it seems to glitch out sometimes, this bit here. It's actually full. We've got 5 of 5 hammer resources here. It should be filled up, but sometimes it doesn't when you first start off. So remember, I can hit straight away with my big consumer attack for this, which is the column blast, the area of affecting, well, the column in front of me, and then I've used the builder. So it's going to teach me basically to say hello to zombies. So I'm going to come down here. Thank you. Defeated enemies will often leave behind loot, items that can be dropped in the world. Loot is denoted by the briefcase icon. Right-click the icon to open the loot bag. You can right-click and look at the items from the bag individually, or alternatively pick up the entire contents of the container by holding Shift and right-clicking. Or you can press V to automatically loot all the containers in your vicinity. And a list of the items have been looted will appear in the chat window here. Sometimes, you know, you've got the time, you look through the loot, other times you don't. Also, if you can see down here at the bottom is my XP bar. It's a very tiny bar, but this always stays this size, and when you pass a yellow line you earn skill points. You gain skill points along here, and then when you complete it, sorry, not skill points, ability points. Ability points there, ability points, and then when you get to the end you earn a skill point as well. So you get like 3 lots of ability points and 1 skill point every time you fill your bar. So let's go over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the consumer first, number 2, and then we're going to start, if there's any survive we're going to pick them up. They should do. Oops. Come on, zombies. Sometimes they're a bit sluggish with lag to pick up on you, but that's not normally the case. But we've just killed 3 of 6 there, so let's go over here and pick these up. So let's pick these up from this van. Is there 3 there? Or is there only 2? There's another 3 here, so let's pick these up. Oh, that's unusual. They usually do attack you quicker than that. I don't know why these aren't attacking me. That's baffling. Hey, there you go. There we go. We've already passed 1 ability point, so we've picked up an ability point, so we're moving along now, along on the XP. Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. It's normally better than that. So we've activated tier 1. Tier 2. Find out how zombies react to loud noises. Jump on abandoned cars on the road to Kingsworth to trigger their alarms and gauge the zombies' reactions. Okay. So again, if you look on the mini-map, it does show you the area they roughly want you to do it in, or the area that's best to do it in. I could just jump on this car here and do it, but I will go down to this one. Okay, go away. Some areas and missions may require you to jump to get where you want to go. The distance your character can jump is modified by your movement speed. The faster you are moving, the faster you are able to jump, and the height of the jump remains constant. Jumping can also sometimes be useful if your character is stuck. Try jumping to free yourself from an obstacle. So we've got to jump onto the bonnets of cars, so let's come down here. Don't know why they're being so sluggish to attack. Maybe, I don't know. Because I'm in the tutorial, protected a little bit, I'm not sure. That's odd. I've never had experienced that before, where they're slow to attack. It's not normally the case. The buzzing. We are the Education Protocol. We climb the twisted ladder of your cells. We haunt your digital text. We hide in your hat. We are the jagged teeth that trip the tumblers of your mind. You will not know our triggers, for all the world's a cipher and everything is true. Be not afraid, be terrified. The dark days are here. Again, it's all slowly revealing itself. Can I get these off the road to attack a bit more quicker than the others do? That might be part of the new enhanced player experience, where they're a bit more reluctant to attack you, just to better until you get through the tutorial. Right, let's go down here and jump on the car as we were told to. This should attract some. Okay, go away. Oh, condition 17, kill 10 zombies. Right, now there's a loot bag. Here's a loot bag. And it's got in it some Pax Romana, which is money. And it's got in some fire, which is used for crafting. Right, that guy's doing the next part of our quest. Okay, we'll let him do it. It'll give me a chance to read this. Gas cans. Items that have yellow outlines are interactive and will produce different effects when used. Those nearby gas cans can be useful if used carefully. So basically what we've got to do is we've got to ignite the gas cans and lure the monsters into it. Yeah. Zombies are attracted to loud noises. Now find out if zombies are affected by fire. Ignite gas cans found on the road and draw zombies into the fire. Ignite gas cans and draw zombies in. We've got to kill 6 of them in the fire, which we can do. Let's see. Probably the best way to do it may well be to do that. Oops. I don't think I can do it now. I've set going and I've cancelled the action, damn it. I cancelled the action before I actually did the thing. You've got to let your action run through. As you notice here, when I click on it, the bar will start to progress. If I move before that finishes, then I've cancelled it. Right, we've got 4 of them. Now this is a green loot bag, in which you usually get items. Better for us. We'll have a look at that later. But we'll do this better this time. Do it once more. We don't have to worry about setting ourselves on fire because we are kind of immortal. There. Again, got 2 this time. It does go quite off what you kill things with. Now, I'll just put those inside for a moment. We'll go through loot and how it affects things later on. But at the moment, I'm doing a nice bad job of going through this little bit. But we've killed 25 zombies now. As you can see, you can go down and down, killing 50, kill 100, kill 500, right through to get the award of Romero title, where you've killed 10,000 zombies. And you can use that title then, Romero. That's a nice little nod to the zombie genre. Let's close these. The fire affected the zombies, but it didn't stop them completely. Next, investigate their feeding habits. Examine one of the half-eaten corpses on the side of the road. So we've got to go down to the next area to investigate the corpses. I tend to leave this open here. Purely for my own benefit as I play, but I'll see if I can remember to keep closing it, just to give you more of a screen. And again, this is tutorial. We're still going through. We're nearly there now. We're nearly at Kingsmouth, where everything begins to pick up. Right, we're at the area here. Is he going to do anything, or is he just he's probably reading the quest there? Policeman's corpse. Are you going to do your quest now, or are you going on? I don't want to step on his toes. I want him to let go through it. He may be a new player. I think he's just going on. Okay, so we can go and look for corpses off the side of the road here. Well, here's one. So let's come up. And again, I hit them first of all with the consumer for the melee, because that is already built. It's built now, as you can see. The consumer for the magic hasn't built. I have to build that over the time as I'm attacking the group. So let's come up here and examine the half-eaten corpse. Oh-ho! Now there, his area of effect, I dodged his area of effect. He's going to do a big attack. I don't need helping, thank you. That wasn't fair. But he's trying to help. But as you see there, the zombie infestation appears to be widespread. Go into Kingsmouth Town and look for survivors. So what happened then was we got attacked by something called a corpse gorger, which is a giant monster. Now I'm going to go and complete the quest first of all for a fistful of zombies, but I will come back here because there's another quest here. But I'm going to do that in the next episode, so it's going to be a very short episode, the next one. But I've just got to follow it down into Kingsmouth now. Look here. Welcome to Kingsmouth. If you're just passing, at least stop for a bug. Still can't figure out what that's supposed to be. Really? For a bug? Burger? I always just thought burger, but no. We'll have to try. I'll figure it out one day what that word's supposed to be. Please drive carefully. Now, this is a metagame, and you will find a web page for Kingsmouth. Look at the island. Look at the the scenery, the trees. Here we've just been given part of the Townie achievement because we found Kingsmouth. Townie, explore Kingsmouth town. As you, like in London when we got the roundabout achievement, as you find the different places of interest, they'll be ticked off until eventually you collect them all. Once you've explored all of Solomon Island, everything in the Savage Coast and everything in Blue Mountain as well, you'll gain the Academy clothing for Innsmouth Academy jacket as a reward. And you don't have to do any of that, that's all purely optional, you don't have to look and find everywhere. But as you can see, here's a police station. We saw it through the portal, it was what we glimpsed, and there are police officers up on the roof defending the walls from guns, stopping the zombies coming through. While the zombies are still battering away on place down here. Let's come down here. Now you see, they're much more aggressive, they came for me straight away. So it was just the tutorial ones that were more passive than they usually are. And here we come to the police station. We can get inside the protected gates here, past the policeman, and now we're in a safe area. Some zombies will run through them gates, but they will be cut down by the police officer guarding it. This is like it's not really a quest hub, but it's a nice safe area. Let's complete the remission for a fistful of zombies. We send in the report via our phone to Sonak, and he says, "Good work on the reports. The information regarding the reanimated dead is useful, though not particularly surprising. Jack Boone, now there's a familiar name. He pops up in reports everywhere. The man travels far and wide, and always seems to be on site before our agents. His factual allegiances are unknown, though he does not appear to be associated with either the Illuminati or the Dragon. It will pay to keep an eye on him. Richard Sonak." That gives us some experience points for completing the little quest, and it also gives us 2 sequins of Solomon Island, which is like an extra token, a valid token for this area, and some more money, 3,330 Pax Romana, which is dollars, credits, however you want to think about it, money from the game. We also get to choose a weapon as a reward. Now we've got 2 weapons on us, but these weapons, if you notice, have got a green background. Can I bring up my character sheet? Yep. The weapon I'm carrying have got white. These have got green. These are what we call quality. The quality level of a weapon matters. The one I'm carrying there says Hammer QL0 Common. It's a quality level 0. They range from quality level 0 to quality level 10 effectively. 10 point something something etc. But the higher the quality, the better the item, the more powerful, etc. As it says there, you can see this one's got a weapon power of 51 damage and a durability of 100. The effusion rating, it says there, is roughly a very rough guide to how powerful the item is. So let's compare it to the green quality hammer. If I hover over that, it shows you the 2 weapons we've got equipped, which is the Chaos Focus and the hammer, and it compares it to this, the Thug's Hammer. The Thug's Hammer is a quality level 1 uncommon item with an effusion rating of 10, which means it's slightly better than what we've got. It does 75 damage, plus it has a +5 hit rating. Now if you notice underneath in red it says requires hammer skill level 1. Well, I'm going to take it because the hammer is going to be my main weapon for a while, so I'm going to select that as my reward. So let's collect those, which puts us around and gets us some more AP points. As you can see here, we've got some ability points unspent. We'll just look, we found the sheriff's office on the Townie achievement. Now that you have sent your report, the mission is complete. Your mission tracker will switch to track your next active mission. If you have no active missions, the tracker will be empty. Well, the only other mission we got, of course, is the story mission, so it tracks that one next. But what I will do is I'm going to press N first of all and bring up the ability wheel. I'm actually going to want K actually for the skill wheel.
Welcome to the Council of Venice Digital Archives and your online guide to surviving the secret world. Character skills. This is the character skill interface. You can train your weapon and talisman skills using skill points. You receive a new skill point when your experience bar fills up. Every weapon has 2 different skill paths. These will vary based on weapon type, although damage is always one of the 2 paths available. Distribute your skill points in order to focus on a specific playstyle. The higher your weapon skill, the higher quality weapons you can equip. You will also need to put skill points into your talisman skills in order to equip higher quality talismans. Whenever you see the skill point icon, make sure to open the character skill interface in order to distribute your new points. For more information on character skills, please access the Council of Venice archives.
So as you can see, you get your skill point once your experience bar fills all the way across, and then you can put them into these skills. Each weapon has 2 sections, 2 different types of things you can put it into. All of them have damage, so you can increase the damage you do. If I put 1 skill point here into damage now, the next skill will give me the momentum skill. Your hammer abilities build up momentum. When the momentum count reaches 5, your next hammer ability will deal 12% more damage. That's a nice thing to have. As you can see, I've got 2 skill points. On the second path for the hammer is survivability, which is thick skin. Blocking an attack further reduces the damage dealt to you by 4%. Sounds small, but 4% is quite handy to have. It's a nice thing. That's why this is good for tanking. If it was, say, blade survivability, figure, whenever an enemy attack glances you, which means it only does a fraction of its damage, you gain 15% of the damage it dealt back as healing. So that's like a self-heal. With fists you get healing power as the second thing, where your fist abilities cause the target to receive 0.66% additional healing from all sources. This effect can be stacked up to 5 times. And as with everything else, as with the abilities and as with these, the combinations you choose are entirely up to you and mean you can customise your character to great deals. I've got 2 skill points, so I'm going to put 1 skill point into survivability here. So I've gained thick skin ability. As you can see, I'll reduce the damage by 4%. The next one I buy, if I buy it at level 2, it will be by 4.44% here. But as you go along, they cost larger amounts of skill points. So to buy this number 2 one, I need 2. To buy the number 3 one, I'll need 3 skill points to buy it. To buy 4, I'll need to earn 4. So it's incrementally more and more cost. But I'm also going to buy just this first one of here, just so that I get the extra 12% damage every 5 hits. Why not? What a great thing to have. So we're going to buy that as well. That's okay. I want that. That's okay. So I've now got 1 of each. Now the ability wheel. As you can see here, we've got 4 skill points available. This is going to be a conversation, I think, for another time, but what we have now are abilities we can buy. We can either buy stuff in the brawn, we can buy stuff in the grit section. If we want to fill up our hammer skills, we can come down to chaos and fill up our chaos focus. We can actually just, if we wanted to, buy something in pistols. However, that's pointless at the moment because we're not using pistols, so for the moment they would be wasted abilities. We are using hammers and we're using chaos, so we want to focus on those for the time being. And as you can see, we've got four active abilities and 2 passives, so we've got 6 abilities so far. We've now got 4 points, so we can spend 4 points worth to buy new abilities. We can buy this, Righteous Fury, which costs 2 ability points. If we buy that, it increases the critical chance of Hell to Pay by 15%. Hell to Pay is our consumer here, which is the column blast attack. But it does mean then that if we buy that and we equip that in here, then this has got an extra 15% chance to do criticals, which actually works out quite well indeed for a start, for a beginner. Definitely a good thing to have. But let's have a look at the grit tree, which we haven't got anything in yet. Brawler increases crit power by 15%. So if we buy this, and which costs 1 point, and we buy that, which costs 15%, if this triggers, our crits are going to be quite powerful with the hammer. And I am going to do that. I'm going to spend 3 out of my 4 points. I'm going to buy Righteous Fury, which is here now. It's put it down automatically because I've got space. If I didn't have space, I'd have to put it down myself. I'm going to come here and I'm going to buy Brawler, which increases my critical power by 15%, so I'm going to buy that. And to begin with, you know, it's pretty much no-brainer. Everything you buy you're going to equip. But you're going to, once you've got past your 7 and 7, you are then going to start looking more carefully at what you want. Like for instance, this ability here, Stonewalled, is something I really want. It's a very powerful ability because it gives you the major block chance effect, which increases your block chance by 45% for 6 seconds. So you know you're going to be blocking a lot more hits on you for 6 seconds than you would normally. And you can then get it so that, like when you get something like this ability here, whenever you block an attack you gain the major ward effect, which reduces all damage you receive by 25% for 6 seconds. So you could, if you've got this passive equipped here, this 7 passive one, Cool, Calm and Collected, and you've also used your Stonewalled, if you go into fight then something hits you and you block it, not only do you gain the less damage from it because you've got much higher chance to block it, when you do block it you then reduce even more damage you take, and they all begin to stack together. All these tiny fractions of bonuses stack together to give you some really powerful ability. One last thing I'm going to briefly look at here, I'm not going to go into it very much, is what they call decks. Here you have decks, and they're what they are is basically a beginner's guide to abilities. For instance, champions. To be a champion, you use a blade and a fist weapon, and you get all these abilities here, and it shows you what abilities you need to get. It puts a little ring up next to them, so it says if you go here and you equip Balanced Blade, which you can see there is the sword swiping, down here it's there, the sword swiping, and Sharp Blade and Stunning Swirl, and there's 7 in this tree that you want all of those. When you've got everything here you will be able to fulfill a role that they call a champion. The champion is no stranger to being outnumbered, a modern day Ronin. This skilled master of blades and fists relies on equal parts fury and control to deal damage in the middle of a crowd. Meanwhile, the champion never loses sight of what is most important, survival. The abilities here focus on defense and self-healing, ensuring that for every swift and swirling blow, the champion is constantly mindful of their own skin. It's sort of like these are guides to classes, I suppose. The champion is quite a good one to solo with, certainly for the beginning area of Kingsmouth and some of the Savage Coast, and you will survive quite well. You'll deal a lot of damage, you'll do a lot of self-healing during the fight, so you'll be able to survive. It's a good one to have, and that's what this is. It's just a guide to say, well, equip these abilities and you'll be able to do that role. And what happens is when you do equip all those abilities, you then complete this task and you can claim a reward, and you're rewarded with the clothing that you can see here. So you'll get the yellow Kill Bill jumpsuit, and that's where this is from. Actually, it's the bride, what the bride wears in the Kill Bill film when she fights, you know, with the crazy 88, etc. She's a great example of a champion. You know, one person in the middle of a crowd, sword flaring, doing out lots of damage. I like the look of the Warlock, and as you can see here, they've changed extensively. The Warlock's much more difficult to get, very much difficult to get, requires a lot of points, and it's a long way down the road. But the Warlock uses hammer and chaos focus, and as you can see, doesn't use any of these abilities because they're blades. Uses the hammer and the chaos, and none from this row, but uses 2 out of this tree. So you look, you see red there, Stormwalled and Stone Cold. Stormwalled and Stone Cold. But it also uses these very, very expensive abilities from the higher trees. So it takes you a lot longer to save up to be a Warlock, but once you do, you'll get this very nifty outfit, but also you'll then be able to really fulfill this role here. The Warlock uses their battle hammer and chaos magic to form an impregnable bulwark. This is a deck intended for tanking, focusing on survivability and drawing attacks away from the group. The majority of the Warlock's survivability comes from blocking, with additional protection and evasion buffs. The elite abilities allow the Warlock to take even more punishment, providing multiple buffs and emergency health regeneration. So everything about this, the Warlock class, if you want to try and, you know, equip that, is geared towards giving you as many defense buffs as possible with your blocking and your ward effects and your healing, so that you can tank for your group. You can be the guy that draws the hate from other creatures, takes all the damage, and generally takes the pounding while everybody else kills the creatures. And that's what your role in the group would be if you was a tank. Now, you don't have to take any of these. You don't have to have any of these if you don't want them. You can create your own. You know, you can look at that and say, okay, well, you know, as it says here, whenever you block an attack, you gain the major ward effect. So you look for another ability that works with it, and you can search for abilities. But it's all complicated. Well, it's not complicated, but it's not for this time. I'm going to end this video here, because I want to, in the next video, just quickly run back up the road and then complete that tiny little quest. It'll take us just a couple of minutes to do that. But let's first of all bring up the character sheet here, and this, and once again the Thug's Hammer increases our character stats. Let's have a look. Offensive stats: combat power 85.2, weapon power 51, attack rating 0. So let's equip this, and suddenly our combat rating is 90, our combat power is 90, with a weapon power of 75. Crit power of 40%. And all your abilities and your everything will help to this. Now look here, we have 2 talismans, and they're all got a specific shape. Head talisman, and the medallion, the chest talisman. And as you can see, the chest talisman there, it says plus 174 health, plus 23 attack rating. So you get a plus 23 attack rating if we equip that, and plus 56 attack rating when we equip this. So let's right click on it, click that, 97.2% power, plus 56 attack rating now, weapon power. We're suddenly a lot more dangerous, we're suddenly doing a lot more damage. Now this item will bind to you if you equip it. Do you want to? Yes we do, because we're going to be using it. So all of a sudden we've gone all the way up now to 100 combat power 79 attack rating, 75 weapon power, etc. So we're much more of a threat to the monsters that we meet. And as you fill out all your talismans, you will be choosing, like say, I want this a talisman that's got block rating, that increases my block rating, or a talisman that increases my attack or my crit chance or my ability to penetrate through armour, and you've got to put thought into how you want to build your character with these talismans. Talismans are something that we'll talk more and more about later on as well. There's going to be lots of time to talk about these things, but they are things that we can make. We can make our own talismans. Press Y to bring up the assembly move. We can use these components we're getting to make things. We can make weapons, we can make talismans, we can make potions. But that's all something we'll deal with more when it comes a bit more appropriate in time to deal with. So for now, we'll finish here. Let me turn around. Let's stand up straight rather than with it. There we go. Let's finish there. And testing my abilities. We'll say I've been Mindfiend, you guys have been wonderful, thank you very much for watching. The next video will be very short. We're just going to run up that road, grab that thing, and then run back here and quickly talk up here to Deputy Andy, who we can see standing up there. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.